Okay, here we are with our assembly. We're going to want to make a drawing of it now. First thing that we do want to do is I want to put this into its collapse configuration because it's exploded right now. So we'll double click, put it back to our collapse configuration, and then we're going to start a drawing. So what I want to do is go to make a new drawing. So open, actually not opening it, we've already got it. File, File and new. Yes. Just completely ignore all that because of wonderful virtual machine. And I want to make a new drawing. And so now we're going to come in and we are going to want to use, let's see, we're going to use a book size drawing. So we'll get rid of the only standard formats. And let's go down here and find our bouquet size. Okay, so the book wants a bouquet size. I don't see it. So what we're going to do is let's use a standard D size drawing. A lot of companies don't keep paper copies anymore, but companies that used to would use a D size drawing. It's 34 by 22, and we're able to play around with the scale and whatnot. I'm just kind of curious what the book was using. They're using an 11 by something. We'll just go with the D size. Okay, and so we've got the block down here with all the tolerances and everything. And so now what we're going to do is we are going to drop in our door. So we're going to go here to the three standard views, which will give us the top view, the right-hand side view, and the front view. And then we're going to select our door. And you can see since we put it in the collapse configuration, it puts everything together. Now, since we're using a D-size drawing, I may up the scale of this just a little bit. But let's go and take a look here. So we've got this in there. And I'm going to select, holding Control, selecting all three of those views. And what I want to do is I want to hidden lines removed. Okay. I want to just make sure the hidden lines are removed. So I'm just seeing what I would normally see. Just looking here, is that the way it would look from the top? Because there's hinges. It looks like the hidden lines are in there. Let's just double check that. I guess not. Okay, so we're all good there. So we have these guys. Let's up the scale a little bit. So we have a 1 to 5 using the sheet scale. 1 to 2. Actually, I'm just seeing if it would let me do a 1 to 3. 1 to 2 seems a little bit on the large side, but 1 to 5 is too small. 1 to 3, or 1 to 5 is 1 to 2 is too big. So I think I want to do this at 1 to 3. So I'm going to go into Sheet here, right-click on it, and go to Properties. I'll bring this up, and I'll make the scale 1 to 3. Apply the changes. There we go. That looks like a pretty appropriate scale for this. And let's go and move. Come on. Just want to move that in just a little bit because we don't need that much room there. Okay, so we've gone. Now, a couple things that we want to do is we want to put in some dimensions because we did some features here that's done at the assembly level, specifically when we placed where these guys were and we said drilled, we're going to drill these holes in the assembly. So what I want to do is I am going to want to put in a dimension to show how close this hinge is to the end. So I'll go here to my smart dimension, and I'll go, okay, well, from here to here, and then we've got that pop up on that. And I like using those little rapid measuring things because it just makes it a little bit easier to make sure that everything looks really good. And so you can also import your dimensions in and then have these dimensions be driving dimensions to where if you change them in the drawing, they'll change in the model. And that's the same way you do with the other thing. You go into model items and then you go down to only assembly, and you can click on this and bring up only the drawings that are in there, and see it brings in these two 1-inch dimensions, where if you change these in the drawing, it will change in the model. Now, that all depends on how you like to do it. I do not like having my drawing dimensions driving my model, so I usually put my dimensions in by hand like this. Some companies really don't like you doing that, but it's all about how the company wants to do things. Now I've got two of these, so I can either come over here and do another one, or what I'm going to go in here and do, I'm going to go in the dimension text and I'm just going to say 2 times, because I've got 2 of them. You can look at the drawing and go, oh, okay, 2 times 1 inch, so it's there, everything is good. Okay, so typically what's the biggest thing about an assembly drawing? It's showing you how to put something together, and you should have a list of what's called a bill of materials, which is all the little items that we use to make it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come back here, we're going to go to model view, and what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to put in that door, but I'm going to want to put in the exploded view. So if I click on next here, it'll bring up my secondary menu with everything in here, because I want an isometric view, which would be this guy right here. And I'm just going to plop that down right in there. And so that gives me that, angled look at the door so I can see everything. And let's see. Let's take a look at it. We're going to tell it to use the sheet scale, which is going to put it at 1:3 like everything else. That seems to be a nice representation there. We've got our hidden lines all shown, so that looks pretty good. So we are going to click on that. But now we do want it exploded. So we're going to have to go into this view, and we're going to have to play around with it. So if you look at the property manager, you'll see show and exploded or model in break state. If you click on that, everything slowly goes into that exploded view, and it also will have a window for if you have multiple configurations. Now the one thing I've got going on with this is, because the isometric view, which is typically what you use, we don't have it really spaced enough for that. So let's take a look at, okay, so we'll use the trimetric view, which just rotates it a little bit more. And actually that is, if you're following along in the textbook, that is what the textbook uses. And so actually this guy is a little bit small for what I want. So let's go and make this one a 1:2. Kind of fill the whole thing in. We'll have to put a note on that to say what the scale is, because this sheet is going to say everything here is a 3:1 scale. This is a 2:1 scale. So let's go into annotations. We'll put in a note. And we'll put the note right here, and we're going to say scale 2:1. There. And so that way people know when you're looking at this that the scale of this view is 2:1. Everything else will be normal. Okay. And so now I also want to put in, because we're going to be drilling these holes at the assembly level. So let's go and put a note on it for that. So once again, we're going to click note. It's already got the leader there. We're going to have it go to that hole. We'll have it come up here. And then the note that we'll say is drill 7/64 holes, 0.05 inches deep to match holes in hinges. Now there's symbology that we can use for this, especially the deep, that it's a little arrow that's going down. I'm not really going to worry about that. We can type it out like that, and that's not a problem. So we've got 8 of them there too. So we can, normally you would put 8x, but since you're matching the holes in the hinges, you really don't need to, because that's everything that's going to be going on there. So we have our holes there. We can play around with the leader, because this just goes straight. If we click here, okay, come on. Actually, no, I want this one down here that's got the text. So that makes it a little bit more of a normal thing. So now I've got that leader going down to there, and so the drawing itself is ready to go. The only thing that we really need to do is now put in the bill of materials to say what all this is, and we'll do that in the next part.